Sellsword Arts. David, you made a big mistake this time, boy, and I'm calling you out on it. You know what you did. You made a common mistake that a lot of fencers in HEMA and other sword-related martial arts make. Now, David from Sellsword Arts is a competent fencer, and you can check out some very entertaining videos of him fencing on his YouTube channel. And I'm not trying to pick on him or anything, but I noticed that he does make a very common mistake, a mistake that I have also made in the past myself. And it's something that kind of shows up in a lot of his fencing videos. And since I don't have any footage of it myself, I figured this would be a good opportunity to talk about it, since I don't think I've ever seen another YouTuber try to cover this subject. So as you can see in this video right here, David is fencing with one of his fencing instructors, and right about here, David makes that big mistake, that big boo-boo. Essentially what he does is he turns his head away from his opponent as his opponent's about to strike. David escapes any serious harm, either by luck or by the skill of his instructor here. But this could end up pretty bad. I've been struck in the back of the head before, making the same exact mistake that David is making here. And it doesn't feel very nice. So this isn't just a one-time thing, this actually happens in a lot of David's videos. It actually happens in his most recent video where the person sparring with him actually catches him making this mistake, and they go over it and they're able to correct the mistake. So what's basically happening here is that when David finds himself on his opponent's right side, after committing to an attack, he often turns his head, exposing the back of his head to his opponent. He does this whether he's successful at his attack or not. This is my fencing helm. This is one of the most heavy-duty fencing helmets that you can possibly buy right now. These things are really protective in the front. I've taken some pretty nasty hits, and this is definitely the place that you actually want to get hit. You're probably not going to get hurt if you get hit anywhere in the front of the helmet. But if you get hit in the back of the head, you have far less protection. It's not bad protection. I mean, it is pretty well padded, but it's not going to take away the force of a full power blow from a longsword. Now that he's caught on to this problem, he can start working on it. And there's a lot of things that you can do, and there's a lot of reasons why this might be happening. Now the first and easiest thing that you can do is to learn to defend yourself from these kind of attacks no matter what happens. Generally, if my back is turned to my opponent, I always do this exact technique that I'm going to show you, and it has saved my butt several times. So this is a position or a parry called the hanging point. Essentially, throwing your pommel straight up, sword goes down, and it protects whichever side of your body that you put it on. And essentially what you do is whenever you have your back turned, you throw your sword there to defend yourself. Not a very difficult concept, but you have to train yourself to do it through repetition and muscle memory. Your brain is very smart. You need to train it independently. Maybe you're stupid, doesn't matter. Your brain is very smart. You need to focus on training that guy. For a defense like this, you need to be fast. If you want to speed this move up, or any attack really, you need to move both hands independently. Independently and also cooperatively with each other. It's kind of like when you're playing a video game, like say if you're playing Minecraft or something like that. One of your movement pads or joysticks is specifically for moving, and the other one is for looking, right? Well, it's the same way with swords. One of these is going to be moving, and the other one is going to be kind of looking around. Your bottom hand can manipulate the sword, and your top hand can provide the strength and stability. So when you're going for a hanging parry, really you don't need to move your top hand that much. You need to worry about getting this pommel up to the sky. David has demonstrated in his videos that he knows how to do this. It's just a matter of him training that muscle memory to make sure that he does it all the time. There's other methods to make sure this doesn't happen, and a lot of that is up here. I also do Norse-style combat on my Thursdays. You might call it Viking combat. I don't really know the technical term for it. They have several different styles. Western, Eastern, Housecarl. In Western-style combat, we don't fight with helmets on. Now you might think that's kind of crazy. We fight at full speed without helmets on. Now the head isn't a target, but it can get in the way, right? Accidents can happen. But funny enough, accidents rarely ever do happen. And why is that? Well, when you're doing this kind of combat where there are serious implications to what you're doing, you have to take it very seriously. And you have to be disciplined. You can't be flinchy, and you can't make stupid, uncalculated moves. That constant awareness of what you're doing is important. And it's hard when you're trying defense and you're training yourself to react without thinking. But you do have to think, you just have to think quickly. Another reason why this can happen is simply due to flinching. Flinching is pretty common, especially when you're having somebody attack you with a 4-pound metal object, and it's something you need to iron out through training. I don't think the cat wants to be in the videos. In Kendo, flinching falls under the 4 poisons of the mind, and they have their various methods of dealing with it. And to better explain this method, I enlisted the help with somebody who's practiced extensively in Kendo. He's a member of our club. You may know him on YouTube as the Sword Links, but I'll let him explain it better than I can. Here we go. Tell us what you're going to teach us today, Brian.
How not to flinch when you're about to be attacked.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, so like a major problem that we have in a lot of fencing is when we're kind of have a sword coming at us, we like to flinch or not want to get hit. So a classic way, so it's the way that was instilled in me by my Kendo instructor, is not necessarily the safest way, but it's the way that is the most effective very, very quickly. So if you want to be my partner. So when we first learned how to do a simple center cut in Kendo, people who were seasoned would be the ones who were receiving. The ones who were brand new were given a shinai, and they were told, okay, I want you to cut right above the head and stop every single time. So the idea is the person who's receiving would slide back a little bit, and the other person would come with that strike. So what would happen is from here, you would slide back, and I would match your step. Okay. You can slide back. Here. Here. So instead of obviously going full force, so I'm going to do allegedly full force. The idea is as I'm striking, I'm actually going to squeeze into the strike. The tenuchi, notice I can still strike and slide forward with something, which is what I want to do. So I want to come around and maybe strike for his head. Think about squeezing, and almost like you're going to squeeze and push forward a little bit. So the idea with that is it's going to disperse the energy from the impact into the strike. And also because you're squeezing on impact, it's actually going to dissipate the energy through your body more efficiently, as opposed to if you're kind of like wet noodle limbs. The first thing is going to, the first weak joint is going to absorb pretty much all of that harm, essentially. So from here, again, nice squeezing on impact, moving with the motion, and try to hit with that top third here. So back in the day when I was in Kendo, we had no armor on, and these guys were just not holding back because they were teenage angst college students. However, we are all adults and we don't want to die. So these helmets are designed very, very well to receive that strike. So we'll find out actually how well. So the main thing is the first time especially, I don't necessarily want you to be like that per se. I want you to think about, again, that squeeze, because that squeeze is also going to help dissipate the impact. So obviously I won't give the example of full-on blow into the head. So first time through, aiming for either side of the temple. From here, coming in, strike. He's going to step back. And the same thing. I also want to still make sure, so now that we actually have a target, think about getting that center third right into the temple and squeeze on impact. So it probably won't be the most pleasant experience receiving the blow, as is any case that we're actually striking in an actual match. However, the main point for the receiver is to have that fortitude, so you're not going to be like wincing and turning your head, which is very common in Kendo, but there's no protection on the sides in Kendo, so it's kind of doubly bad because you're getting less protection, getting hit in the ear. But these guys are pretty strong.
I hope this doesn't come off that I was picking on David from Sellsword Arts. I was just using his mistake in his videos as an example to teach something that doesn't get covered on YouTube at all, I don't think. If you found this helpful and you like this video, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot, trust me. I want to keep on trying to grow this channel and make more content for you guys. So I'm going to see if I can put out some more short videos like this as I work on bigger, more in-depth videos. So once again, thank you for your support. Please check out my other videos if you haven't already. Check them out again, helps me out a lot. I put a lot of hard work into a lot of my videos, and I plan on putting hard work into a lot of the ones that are to come. I think you guys are going to like what I have in store. Until then, guys, watch out for those afterblows.